This is Karen Shier. Welcome to Quick Conversations with Karen and Carrie. I empower women to live and work with passion.
And I am Carrie, and I help women live and work with passion and joy. I think I said that wrong, but that's all right. So today we have a guest speaker. Joanna is our guest coming on to talk about passion and joy. So Joanna, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, my name's Joanna, and I am a law of attraction life coach like Carrie and Karen, and also desire factor coach. And I guess in addition to that, I'd probably add that I'm a certified Qigong instructor and a certified laughter yoga leader.
Ooh, laughter is good.
Laughter's good, and I love Qigong. That's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. Yes.
Well, I'm excited today. Let's get this conversation started, girls. Love your cup, Joanna. It's got to have a story, I'm sure.
It has a story. This cup, when I was a young gal, I always went to my grandparents' home on the lake down in Loch Harbor, Nova Scotia. And this was one of my favorite cups that was in my grandma's cupboard. And I always chose it to drink out of when I was there. And my mom sold the cottage, sold the home a few years back. So I keep this. And whenever I drink out of it, I always have the joy of those early childhood memories and having tea with my grandma, or just being at the cottage on the lake. So it just has a lot of sentimental value for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I remember my grandma Napper had a little plastic blue cup and saucer when the grandkids would come over, and we always just thought, oh, coffee, that's so cool. And she would let us taste a little bit of coffee in this little tiny mug. It was so cool. And it's such a great memory. I wish now I had that mug, but
yes.
Yeah.
When I think about my mom, like my grandmother's house, she had this front room, all these windows that looked out over the lake. And it was always called like the tea room, like the tea parlor. And she had, you probably had grandmas that had like the teacups, the fancy teacups and the little saucers and everything. But like this was more like a mug. And It was just, to me, I felt more drawn to this than I did the fancy teacups. And I don't honestly know if I was concerned about breaking the china, but this one just felt more like grounding and more solid. It felt safer,
more warm and cozy.
Yeah. Ooh, perfect, Carrie. Yes, warm and cozy.
So our first question for you, Joanna, is how do you in your daily life live with passion and joy?
I love that question. And I'm thinking about the fact that, I guess what comes up first is, I haven't always, right? I haven't always. It's been a journey to get here. And so I guess the first thing is, when I first became aware that, as an individualized conscience of the divine, I've always had kind of a stream of joy and passion flowing to me. But I just learned that in the last, 5 to 6 years, right? And so I didn't know that it was me who had pinched myself off from that. And so that was like huge for me to come to the realization that I'm 100% responsible for whether I allow or disallow that experience into my life. And I'd have to say that there were lots of different things that happened to me throughout my life that had me shut down my heart and to pinch that flow off. So when I've come into the realization, and the desire factor was a wonderful place to kind of expand upon what we learned in the QSCA. It was just this opportunity for me to realize that, oh, here's the information again, and I choose
Mhm.
But I realized I had to be really intentional about it, because it was almost like, I understand like there's nothing more important than how we feel, as these energy attractors and containers and generators and emitters. So it was almost like I'm responsible, and I have to be intentional about aligning, and not only aligning, but allowing that flow to come to me. And I'll tell you, I was so afraid for so long to feel anything above neutral, because I didn't trust myself that if I fell from if I fell from anything too high, I didn't trust that I would be able to recover. Does that make sense?
There's
That's
so many people like that.
yeah. It's so, that's an interesting perspective. Do you want to go a little deeper in that?
Yeah, so I'll give an example. Like, like I grew up in a small town, and I had some experiences early on, like a lot of people do, with like bullying, and you kind of close down your heart, and then something else happens, and then you close down your heart, and then you just begin to expect bad things are going to happen, so you build the walls and you don't allow love in, right? But at the age of 23, my father, he literally just dropped dead in front of me. We were at a family function, and it was traumatizing, and all that stuff. But at that point, it was almost like, as I look back, it was almost like there was a cement wall that went around my heart. And again, learning all about the chakras and the power centers, and this beautiful space, this transformational station we have, that is our heart center. When we shut that down, we close ourselves off from life itself. And we're here to live the entire spectrum of emotion. And when you close yourself off from a whole end of that spectrum and just resign, and I felt very resigned to live in the lower emotions and maybe neutral. I think when I was in the QSCA, I realized, okay, I'll get to neutral. Like, I mean, it took me like the QSCA to get to neutral. And I so aspired to go beyond, to feel more optimistic, because I'd been quite a pessimist. Like, I wanted to be hopeful. But I wanted to live in joy. I wanted to be more open to experiencing love and loving, like being loved and being able to love someone. And I know for me, I kind of felt like when I said yes to marry my husband and yes to have children, I allowed my tap kind of to open a trickle. So like the flow of love would come through at a trickle, but I always felt like I had to control it. I couldn't allow it to go too much. Like I didn't want to feel too much, because I may lose it. I may lose them. And I never trusted that I would recover or be able to bring myself back up. So I guess how I would say it is, I've come to trust in myself, because I've learned the tools that I need to be able to pull myself back up if anything untoward happens, and trusting that I now have the energetic tools that I need, to feel that full spectrum.
So do you have a daily practice that you incorporate to keep yourself open to joy and passion? And what is
Yeah, so definitely now I do. And that for me would be, first of all, to do my alignment work first thing in the morning, which I love to do meditations, and Christy Whitman and the council have these 30-day packages of meditations that I just love. And it doesn't matter how often you do them, so you can repeat them over and over again. You can do, I like to do maybe more than one set at a time. But it's almost like just a intentional daily light work, and just bringing in the light, which allows me to align with divine and know that I'm this multi-dimensional being, and it's up to me to maintain and nurture and foster that connection on the regular, and take 100% responsibility for doing that. And when I do that, it's just, I'm not alone. And I think that really helps for me to know that I'm not in this alone. And in no place in my life path had I ever been alone. I just had turned my back to it being with me, or pinched it off. So, but yeah, joy is a beautiful, beautiful emotion. Being connected to your passion, it just elevates my experience of life on planet Earth. So yay. when I allow myself to make that, to cross over into those higher emotions and trust my ability, because there's a constant ebb and flow, right? I mean, we've got the whole law of polarity, we've got dark and light and up and down, and we have joy and we have sorrow, and there's going to be times throughout our lives where we'll have to experience those things and adjust. But I no longer want to forego the joy in that kind of protective kind of way I think I was doing it.
Yeah, it's I think what's great about what we're all doing is having that awareness and learning these tools, because we're still going to get knocked off. I did a video this weekend. I was just having a funk day, just a day where I just was in a funk and I couldn't bring myself out of it. But having the tools and the awareness, and what I realized was I went a couple days without doing my morning routine, my morning ritual. And then, you kind of get drawn into maybe some old thinking or old ways or whatever it is. But just having that awareness, it's really important to just bring yourself back, and knowing how to do that. We're so lucky to have all the tools that we have, whether it's having the awareness of the meditations and the trainings that we've been through, and all the great lessons we've learned along the way. It is really life-changing. It is really life-changing. And we do, I think, I know all three of us have had situations where we've closed down our heart, right? Because we don't want to get hurt, and learning how to deal with that, and learning that it's okay. You did what you did at the time. You knew what you knew at the time. You coped how you did at the time, and now we can cope differently.
And learning that it really is about connection also. It's like having that community around you that you can go, okay, even if they're in person or virtual or imaginary, but having that connection is important to help each other, because we're not here to do it alone. We're here to support and help each other. Definitely.
Absolutely. Just going back to the morning routine. So when I wake up in the morning, which is usually around 6 a.m., I always have at least a glass of water. Sometimes I'll put lemon in it. And then I'll do the meditations, because, Christy and the council always talk about how important it is to hydrate when you're bringing in this energy and this light. And then I'll often do the Qigong, which again helps to move the energy around my body and to bring in more life force. And then there's I can do another form of meditation, which is really about just being still and listening for that inner guidance. So in the desire factor, when we get to the action stage of desire factor, which is the 7th principle, we talk about listening for that still inner voice or that inner guidance. And so I like to do that after I've done some of the light work and then the Qigong, and then to sit to just receive. And then I write any kind of hits I get in a journal so that I don't forget them. Because sometimes I'm pausing because I'm going like, some days I don't do that, and I really would like to get more consistent with that. So I think the consistency is really important when it comes to all of these success habits. So yeah, just doing our best to get the fine-tuned and get into the flow.
So I'm interested in what you said you do, the laughing yoga thing. Can you tell us
The
more about that?
laughter yoga.
Laughter yoga, yes.
Yes. So I was certified back in I think it was October of 2021 as a laughter yoga leader. And so laughter yoga was developed back in 1995 by Dr. Madan Kataria from Mumbai, India. And so he was a physician, and he was very interested in understanding more about the mind-body connection and how laughter was being used around the world to heal people. And so he had worked, well, he went out to an area in Mumbai where people had gathered, and he had gathered with them, and he just started like telling jokes and all this kind of stuff to get people to laugh. And then they decided that, oh, we'll just come back the next day, and then we'll just come back the next day. And I think by the end of the week, he had like 55 people there. And but inevitably they ran out of jokes. And so they were thinking, like, how do we keep this thing going? And so he did some more research, and they developed this practice where we laugh for no reason. Like it's important to laugh for no reason, because it's the action of laughing in and of itself that leads to the health benefits, right? Mm-hmm. So there are some contraindications for doing it. So, certain conditions like high blood pressure or, cardiac issues or hernias, those kinds of things. I mean, there's a number of things that contradict one from doing it, or you absolutely have to get permission from your physician to participate. But the overall health benefits, it's really good for your lungs. It's great for your immune system. It's wonderful for circulation. There's just so many benefits. People have been known to use it as a practice to help with the treatment and management of certain cancers and that sort of thing. So it's just wonderful. But yeah, so basically, then his wife, who was a yoga instructor, started, working with him, and they put in a yogic breath work, which was really great too. So it's really about, it's a full body exercise. It's something that we do whether we feel like laughing or not. We're laughing for no reason. There's 4 pillars to laughter yoga. So when you come to a session, there's the breath, like there's the breath work, which is part of the laughter, there's singing, there's play, and there's dancing. So usually a session would last between 20 and 30 minutes. There are free laughter yoga clubs all over the world. Because of the pandemic, many of them went online. I would encourage anyone to Google it and you would be able to connect to a laughter yoga class anywhere in the world. They're virtually all over the world. And Dr. Madan Kataria runs one every week. And sometimes his wife's there with him and sometimes not. But now that the pandemic is kind of looking a little different all over the world, I think that the live face-to-face kind of experiences are coming back into play as well, which they're fun. They're fun. And they're done, they're done in workplaces, they're done in schools, they're done for children, they're done for the elderly. Like it's virtually, all the different niches can benefit from this, because it's about elevating your energy, right? So your frequency, your vibration, with all of those things, laughter, play, song and dance, we do these to always uplift ourselves. So it's a great practice.
Oh, that sounds lovely. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I've not heard of it before. So thanks for sharing it. That's great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have to have you lead a class.
There we go.
I'm thinking that you're not the first one to ask me that lately. So I'm thinking like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna need to do something like that and put it
Maybe
out
that's
there.
your higher self saying, hello, this is what you should do.
That's
Definitely.
right. Oh, I'd love to lead y'all through through a session. I was even thinking of maybe doing something on Facebook in that I would just even kind of cover the history of it and kind of the, the pros, the contraindicate, like those kinds of things. So people know what it is that they're signing up for when they come. But again, the laughter yoga clubs are all free. You would get into all of them free of charge. There are some that go on to have classes that they may charge for. But yeah, we're encouraged to offer it free because the goal of laughter yoga is to it's a means to world peace. And in every session, we usually laugh for no reason for 1 minute in honor of calling in world peace. So.
Oh, that's really cool. I love the concept. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely look forward to seeing your Facebook post about it. Just saying.
Thanks, Carrie. I'm sure you'll keep me accountable to that.
I will.
That's so great. So Joanna, what projects and things, what do you got going on right now?
Oh, what do I have going on right now?
She is preparing to put posts on Facebook about laughter yoga.
I guess that's new to do. I'm a student. Like that's one of, I wish I could be paid to be a student because I absolutely love studying myself. So I'm in the process of reviewing some class material around quantum energy mastery, and I'm looking forward to doing another module related to that very soon. As far as a desire factor coach, I'm on standby, awaiting my next clients, and I'm super excited about that. I'm still I'm doing my light work so much right now, Karen, because I'm sitting and asking the divine, what is it that you want me to do? Where is it that you want me to be? I've had some recent I guess you'd call it feedback from others that maybe doing a podcast with my daughter would be something that would be helpful to others. So I'm thinking about doing that, and I'd love to write a book. I'd love to do it all, but I don't know in what particular order it's all going to happen. But I just
yoga.
have to say, I'm just so appreciative of me saying yes to the QSCA and me saying yes to the Desire Factor, and all of us having come together and getting to know each other and just being part of this incredible movement that's happening right now to raise the consciousness here on planet Earth. It's just awesome.
Well, here, I raise a glass to that one.
Yay!
Yay! Look at all the great conversations, the great connections that we've made. And our paths probably would have never crossed had it not been for that coming together. So that's really awesome. Really awesome. You just never know, right? You always have to say yes.
Trust and faith. We got to walk in trust and faith.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your insights today, Joanna. Thanks for coming and showing up and sharing the new information. We can't wait to watch your videos that you're going to create for us.
For laughter yoga on Facebook. We will share them too. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So
that's great.
And I guess for our viewers, again, we'd love to have your comments below. And if you have any insights or any cool things that you want to share with the audience. So please do so.
Or
And
any
in the
questions?
meantime, yeah, yep. And in the meantime, let's get this conversation started, girls. All right. Thanks so
Thank-
much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.